Then was Then, This Is Now. That was his passage to Steve Vai, Favorite Nations Artist, and Resolution. Then there is an amazing DVD called Resolution Live. Can hear in the back of me, and I introduce you with a great pleasure our friends Andy Timmons. Just
Hello. I brought my band with me. They travel very cheap, you know.
in the meantime, he said his things. I want to remind you that he's working on more music, more amazing music, of course. He's working on a Beatles revisited project called Sgt. Peppers, and for, let's say, an instrumental record in the way of Resolution, the last one released. He's working with his mate in the band, Mitch Marine on drums, and Mike Dan on bass. Are you ready, Andy?
I think so.
I think so. So
Are we
let's.
speaking to this? Raised up here. What is Ziua?
Yeah. Let the guitarist do the talking. And Timmons.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's great to finally be here in Romania. Thanks to my friend Corrado for bringing me here, and very excited to be in Bucharest for my first time. So, thought maybe I'd start off playing a couple of songs, if that's okay. We'll play later tonight as well, of course. And then I'll play some songs, and then we can have a discussion. Whatever you guys want to talk about, any questions you might have about my career or playing guitar, amps, Mexican food in Texas. We have good Mexican food here in Romania, any? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Let's see. I take requests too. You know what? Can you mute it for a second? Can you mute? Okay. It'll work better this time. That'll be easier. You should see my sound here. Are you ready? Well, thank you. All right then, let's see. Let me play another song here. There's something from the That Was Then, This Is Now CD. This is called Beautiful Strange. Here we go. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Maybe. Hold on, Simon. Maybe. No, let's do one more. Slow it down a little bit. The next song is a ballad. I'll do another song from the That Was Then, This Is Now CD. It's called Falling Down. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. We have had to save some songs for tonight. We can't do the whole concert right now, though I'd love to, actually. It feels good. It's a very warm feeling in the room. Everywhere you go in the world, it's amazing. How many great players there are everywhere. I've heard so many great players already here in Romania. But the special thing is the feel of the people where you go and the difference it makes in the music. And so I want to thank you. Just as I'm playing these couple of songs, it made me feel very, very comfortable and very welcome. So thank you. So, what would you like to talk about? We have an hour to chat.
What do you recommend for practicing your band?
Recommends asking what do I recommend for practicing bends? Very good question, because it's a very difficult thing, to really get. When I began playing, I started playing when I was 5 years old. I should be a lot better by now. I'll be 47 in July, so I have no excuse. I should be playing much better. But when I grew up playing, I didn't have lessons. I was self-taught for many years, from 5 to about 16. And the bending that I learned, I was just trying to imitate the records, that I had. And really, the first band that I was learning a lot from was Kiss. And so I learned how to bend from Ace Frehley, basically. Any Kiss fans here? That's one Kiss fan in Romania. Big Kiss fan. But Ace Frehley was a great guy to learn from. He wasn't really flashy, but he kind of took the best of the British invasion blues guitar players, Clapton and Beck, and especially Jimmy Page. But he came up with a very unique way. So I guess I was lucky that, okay, this guy bent really well and he had a cool vibrato, so it was a good guy for me to start with. And if the first guy I heard was Yngwie, I probably would have never played guitar. I can't do that. I still can't do that. But I think that just emulating your favorite players, but you can make exercises, of course, of any component of guitar playing. And with bending, of course, the difficult thing is pitch. So you want to check the pitch you're bending to. And also doing it without vibrato, which is sometimes difficult. Even just a played note without vibrato. For a lot of players, it's very hard. We want to give motion to it, but if you you can make little exercises, really be trying to be accurate with the pitch. But just there's no substitute for just playing all the time. When I was learning when I was growing up, I didn't really practice a lot. I didn't know scales or think of practicing scales and metronome. I was always playing music. I was always putting the records on. And I learned every Kiss song that I could. So I think that was an important factor. Just really listening and emulating and playing along. Another guy I learned from, bending wise, of course, was Steve Lukather. Another big influence, like the bends he did on. everything that I loved about guitar. You know, there was this amazing, you know, everything Steve plays has such conviction. You know, he's just not. You just can feel his body moving with every note, and it's some of those wider intervals. So instead of just being a second, that minor third, or the major. Then of course the great Stevie Ray. You know, just every, you know, just grab the whole guitar and bend it, you know. So, certainly Stevie Ray was one of the first blues players that I listened to and was just floored by. But it wasn't until years later that I went backwards from Stevie Ray and discovered his influences, and a guy named Albert King. You ever hear Albert King play guitar? Okay. A friend of mine who was working with Ibanez, actually, Chris Kelly, back in 1993 or something, said, "You've never heard Albert King? I need to send you a CD." So he sent me a CD, and it was a blues compilation. It had everybody from Freddie King, and Albert King and Muddy Waters, all these guys. He says, "You need to check out all these players." And it got to the Albert King track, and it was a song called Personal Manager. Just a real slow blues. And there's no guitar solo in the whole song. So there's a little turnaround in the middle where he goes. And just in one note, I felt so much of Stevie Ray. You know, he obviously listened to Albert King and lived with that and learned how to do exactly that. Then he of course, he did his own thing. He took Jimi Hendrix and he took Albert and he took all the great blues guys. So it's amazing to, you know, whatever players you're into, you can always go backwards from there and usually find, okay, it's a bit of that guy, a bit of this guy. And so hearing Albert King was amazing. So he's really my favorite blues guitar player. And it's the bending, you know, that really does it for me. So good luck. I hope that helps in some way. I know I ramble a little bit, but yeah, it's the never-ending journey of trying to get those bends really, really nice. And I think that the guitar matters a lot too, how the guitar is set up. When I was really learning and playing a lot, my first Fender guitar was a Fender Squier. The Squier guitar was first made in 1983, I think. And I was going to school at the University of Miami in Florida. And I had a Les Paul, I had a Gibson Les Paul, and I was a rock, Ace Frehley, Ted Nugent, I'm a rock guitar player. But all the top 40 bands in Miami, you had to have a Strat. 1983, you got to be Nile Rodgers, right? So all I could afford was the cheapest guitar, was the Fender Squier. And I put EMG pickups because Steve Lukather was using EMG pickups. And I stuck that in there. And it sounded great. But I always thought, this is just a cheap guitar, But always felt good, bending, great. Then after years that, I started getting other guitars, and that guitar just went into the closet. I didn't visit it for years. Many other Fender Strats, like vintage 60s, custom shop, Then one day I said, let me get that old Squier out just to see. And I picked the guitar up and I bent a note. It just was so effortless. It was so easy. Just that neck, for some reason. It's now known that the first year of Fender Squiers were made in Japan and are regarded to be a lot better than this 1970s American Strats. They're just really great guitars. I got lucky and had this guitar. So it turns out my best Fender is this old Squier, Go figure. But it does, the way your guitar is set up, if you have a floating tremolo, that presents issues, certainly. That's why I've gone back to a traditional style tremolo since the early 90s. I love the Floyd Rose. I love what you can do with the tremolo. But the sacrifice for me was, when I bend a note, the bridge would move, and I never felt stable. And you can see that I like to get some energy out of the guitar. Sometimes I'm beating notes out of it, and then the bridge never really held up for me. So that's another issue, how you set your guitar up, and the radius of the neck, of course. what type of guitar do you play? Well, let's. The room is right, feels right. No, go figure. But it doesn't. The room is right, feels right. No thinking at all. Okay? Absolutely no thinking. If it can be. But is it ever perfect? Not usually, but in the moments where things are really beautiful is when you're not thinking. As soon as I think, oh, the amp's not right, or as soon as I think, oh, that sounded great. If I ever have a thought of like, well, that was pretty cool, the next note's gonna suck. It's gonna, why did I think that? You know, the best moments are purely when you're disconnected mentally. If you can learn how to calm the mind. I've been working on meditation lately, and I've never been able to really sit and not think anything. But it's a wonderful exercise. Does anybody here meditate? Okay. I've tried for many years, and I could just never do it. It's like I'd sit there and, okay, take a deep breath. I really need to do laundry. How can you turn it on? There's just so much shit going on in the world. Right? But I've been actually making more efforts, and it's amazing just breathing deep, what that can do, you know. And especially in this situation too, we're all guitar players, right? There's the greatest guitar players I think in the world here. So, I mean, Greg and Brad, Richard and William, and there's so many great musicians. You're like, what am I gonna do? You know, you get all nervous about it. But before I came out, I said, you know what? Take a deep breath. And just try not to think, you know. And it helps too when it's a good feeling in the room. So instinct is the best. You know, hopefully you've done your work, you've practiced, you've played for years, you keep working. Then when it's time to get on stage, hopefully you can just forget all the trouble, any problems, and just try to connect from inside. That's what I hope. Okay?
What do you think about the future of the guitar?
Future of the guitar. It's amazing how the guitar keeps growing. I think technically, I can't imagine if Michelangelo was talking to me about a guy that had played Flight of the Bumblebee at 300 beats per minute or something. So I think technically we're there. The fastest has been achieved, or maybe not. Maybe I'll try 400 next year. And it's amazing the abilities of so many players, and it's something that I continue to strive for. But I really, the future of the guitar must lie in musicality. At least I'm hoping. And I just finished a tour in Italy a couple of weeks ago, and we had some really great opening acts. And the guys coming out, they were playing some really nice tunes. And I thought, oh, this is a good sign. Because at the end of the day, ability is one thing, but you have to make music. You have to make music, hopefully that people want to listen to, that that people maybe go home singing a melody, you know. Obviously, they may be amazed with technical virtuosity, and I always am as well. But after 10 or 15 minutes, I do want to hear a song. You know, I want to hear a nice melody. And so for me, it's continuing trying to improve as a writer. Continue to try to improve, of course, as a player, a technician, but having, at the end of the day, the technique not mattering. Has anybody seen or heard Tommy Emmanuel? Okay. Tommy, to me, he's quite possibly the greatest musician I've ever seen and heard. He's a technical virtuoso beyond any hope that I would ever have on the instrument. But he never loses the music. He never loses sight of it's this beautiful music coming out, just flowing from him, this effortless stream of wonderful melodies, and then you realize, well, there's no way that's even humanly possible to play that, you know. But as you're listening to it, it doesn't sound like that. It's just that effortless mastery that he has of the instrument that comes out in just a pure musical form, you know. So I admire Tommy greatly. My band had to follow him in a concert. We played in Pistoia, Italy. It was Tommy Emmanuel and my band and Deep Purple. But even though Tommy's just one guy, you know, and I have a loud power trio, it was hard to follow him. You know, I was like, oh man, what do you do after that? You know, like I'm glad I'm not coming on after Greg Howe, certainly, or but then Brett and Richard too. So you have to just do what you do. But the future, I think, is just hopefully just better songs. You know, let's write some music. Yeah. Okay, so I'll play one more song. Let's see. I'll play one more tune for you. We'll try this. This is the version of Cry For You we did in Japan a few years ago with Simon Phillips. And anyway, enjoy the rest of the day. I look forward to meeting you all, and I especially look forward to playing with all the players at the end. Some of my heroes, absolutely. So.